The brightest lights often shine from the deepest darkness. What if the trials you've faced weren't mere coincidences, but part of a divine design? Each heartbreak, each moment of suffering, orchestrated by a higher hand. What if every betrayal, every rejection, and every unfair blow to your spirit was part of a larger, unseen plan, designed not to destroy you, but to refine and strengthen you in ways the world cannot yet understand? In the light of Christian faith, this is not an impossible idea, but a profound truth. Just as God allowed his Son to endure the ultimate suffering on the cross for a greater purpose, so too does he allow his children to experience trials for reasons far beyond our comprehension. Jesus himself, the greatest example of divine suffering, told us, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." John 16, verse 33. Through suffering, we are drawn closer to him, and our faith is tested and purified, like gold refined by fire. 1 Peter 1, verse 7. Consider the lives of saints and heroes of the faith. The Apostle Paul, once a fierce persecutor of Christians, endured imprisonment and beatings to spread the gospel. His suffering wasn't meaningless. It was the very path through which God revealed his glory. Think of Job, whose immense suffering was not without purpose, but led him to a deeper understanding of God's sovereignty. As Job said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." Job 13, verse 15. Greatness, according to God's plan, does not come without sacrifice. But even in the darkest times, God's light is at work within us, transforming what was meant to destroy us into the very source of our strength and purpose. If you are enduring hardship, remember, God has a plan, and your story is far from over. The very things that have tried to break you are preparing you to shine in ways you cannot yet imagine. Number 1. The paradox of chosen ones. Being chosen isn't about arriving at greatness. It's about the agonizing journey that takes you there. People only see the shine of your success, but they remain oblivious to the countless hours of darkness and struggle that forged it. They don't know about the sleepless nights where your mind raced with self-doubt, the heartbreak that never truly healed, or the endless battles with yourself where you questioned whether you were worthy of anything at all. They see you standing tall, but they don't know the weight of the invisible chains that have bound you for so long. The path of the chosen one is one marked by isolation. It's not just that people don't understand your journey. They simply cannot. How can anyone comprehend the weight of being chosen when their own lives are shaped by ordinary, predictable paths? They watch you from the sidelines, admiring your resilience, but they have no clue about the price you've had to pay for it. They don't see the scars that run deeper than skin, the trust you've lost, or the friends you've had to let go of because they couldn't carry the weight of your burdens. It's a lonely road to greatness. It's not about having the most power, the most resources, or the most support. It's about surviving the countless moments when everything around you is designed to make you break. The universe doesn't spare you. It pushes you to your limits, only to see if you can endure. And even when you feel like the world is crumbling beneath your feet, you are expected to rise again, without fail. But that's the paradox. You were chosen not because you were the strongest or the most prepared, but because you were willing to endure the worst and still keep going. And in the end, that endurance will define you. What truly sets the chosen ones apart is not the victory, but the scars left behind by their struggle. It's not the triumph that matters. It's the resilience that it takes to survive when every part of your being is begging for rest. Yet, through all the pain, there's a deeper knowing within you that this journey, as unbearable as it may seem at times, is leading you somewhere extraordinary. You just have to survive long enough to see it. Number 2, the invisible warfare. The invisible battles are the ones that leave the deepest scars, the ones that no one else can see, but that you feel every single day. These wars aren't fought with physical weapons. They are fought in the hidden chambers of your mind, in the very essence of your spirit. Every time someone took advantage of your kindness, every moment you were manipulated or betrayed, it wasn't just an isolated incident. It was part of a carefully orchestrated strategy aimed at eroding your sense of self. These were the strikes of an invisible war, one that left no visible wounds, but inflicted damage far worse than any physical injury ever could. The pain was real, but it was hidden, and because others couldn't see it, they often dismissed it. They didn't understand how deep the cuts went or how long the wounds would last. To the outside world, you were just another person going through a rough patch. But to you, it was much more than that. It was a war waged on your sense of worth, your ability to trust, and your very identity. Every attack was designed to leave you questioning your own value, your purpose, your place in this world. And yet, even though you were left fighting a battle no one could see, you kept moving forward. You smiled through the pain, pretended everything was fine, and continued to push yourself, all while carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken wars. You might have even been called strong, brave, or resilient, but the truth is, no one knew the real cost of your strength. They didn't see the tears that fell silently in the night, the self-doubt that gnawed at you when no one was looking, or the quiet moments of despair when you wondered if it was all worth it. But here's the most powerful part of this invisible war. You were stronger than they ever knew. The very fact that you're still here, still standing, still fighting, is proof that they didn't win. You may have been hurt, manipulated, and betrayed, but you never lost yourself. And that in itself is a victory. You are the proof that the human spirit can endure the most unimaginable pain and still emerge intact, stronger, and more determined than ever to rise above. Number 3, a sickness rooted in envy. Envy is a poison that infects the soul in ways that can be nearly impossible to detect. It doesn't scream or shout. It whispers quietly in the background, wearing the mask of kindness, concern, and support. It hides behind compliments, false praise, and even a well-meaning helping hand. But beneath that facade lies something far more dangerous. The truth is, the betrayal and cruelty you face were not accidents. They were rooted in a sickness. Envy, a force that drives people to destroy what they cannot have or be. They saw something in you, something they didn't possess but desperately wanted. Maybe it was your strength, your ability to stay calm under pressure, or your unwavering faith in the possibility of a better future. Whatever it was, it made them feel small in comparison. But envy never reveals itself openly. Instead, it wears the mask of criticism, sabotage, and condescension. People may have told you that you weren't good enough, that you'd never amount to anything, or that your dreams were delusions. They may have belittled your efforts, tried to undermine your confidence, and made you doubt the very things that made you unique. Not because it was true, but because your success, no matter how small, threatened them. It reminded them of their own limitations, their own insecurities, and the things they had never dared to pursue. What's even more twisted is how personal envy can feel. It's not just about attacking what you do, it's about attacking who you are. Envy doesn't just want to see you fail. It wants to see you question your very existence. It wants to make you doubt the things that make you special, to strip away your confidence, and to push you into a corner where you can no longer shine. And for a while, maybe they succeeded. Maybe you did shrink yourself or second-guess your talents, or try to be someone you weren't, just to fit into their narrow view of who you should be. But here's the truth. Envy destroys the person who carries it far more than it ever could destroy you. While they tried to dim your light, they failed to see the bigger picture. You were never their competition. You were a reminder of what's possible, something they couldn't bear to face. And in the end, the envy that consumed them became their own undoing. You were never meant to be like them. You were meant to be something different, something extraordinary. And that's something they'll never be able to comprehend. Number 4, the gaslighting of your greatness. Gaslighting your greatness is one of the most insidious tactics the world uses to keep you small, to make you doubt the very essence of who you are. It doesn't start out of nowhere. It begins subtly, often from those who should be your support system, the people closest to you. Family, friends, teachers, colleagues, those you trust the most. At first, their words may seem harmless. Stay humble. Don't get ahead of yourself. Be realistic. But these words are not spoken out of genuine concern for your well-being. They are a reflection of their own fears, their own insecurities. The truth is, your potential is a threat to the status quo. Your dreams, your ambitions, your unique vision of the world unsettle them. So, they try to convince you that your greatness doesn't exist, that it's an illusion, or worse, something to be ashamed of. They want you to shrink, to stay within the boundaries of the ordinary and the expected. When you begin to outgrow their comfort zones, when you begin to show signs of something extraordinary, they'll label you in all sorts of ways. Arrogant, difficult, naive, or even delusional. They want to make you believe that your belief in yourself is wrong, that you're overstepping your bounds. And this doesn't just stop with the people around you. Society plays its part too. We live in a world that rewards conformity and punishes those who dare to stand out. It's easier to control those who blend in, who follow the rules, who fit into predefined boxes. When you begin to step out of those boxes, when you start showing the world who you really are, your talents, your resilience, your refusal to settle for mediocrity, the world moves quickly to label you as a threat. They try to make you feel small, making you question yourself, your path, and your worth. The real danger of gaslighting, however, lies in how effective it can be. Over time, you might start to internalize these voices. You might begin to question yourself, to wonder if they're right. You may feel the need to shrink your dreams, to silence your voice, to play small in order to keep the peace, to avoid confrontation. In those quiet moments when you are alone with your thoughts, you may even start to believe their lies. But deep down, you know something they don't. That spark of greatness hasn't gone away. It's still there, buried under the weight of their doubts, waiting to break free. Here's the truth you need to embrace. The world doesn't waste its energy on things that aren't a threat. If they're trying to make you doubt your potential, it's because they see it and it scares them. The sooner you embrace the truth of who you are, the sooner you step into your full power, the sooner you'll become unstoppable. And that is exactly what they're afraid of, the unstoppable version of you. Number 5, the dehumanization you endured. What you went through was not just cruelty. It was an attack on the very core of your humanity. It was designed to break you down in ways that reached deeper than the physical pain or emotional manipulation. The cruelty you faced wasn't just about causing suffering. It was about erasing who you are. It was about stripping you of your dignity, your sense of self, and your place in the world. It wasn't enough for them to hurt you. They wanted to hollow you out, to make you feel like you were nothing, to make you forget your worth, your value, and your very right to exist. It's the most insidious kind of cruelty because it goes beyond just making you feel bad about yourself. It tries to make you believe that you don't even deserve to exist in the first place. They treated you as though you were insignificant, as though your pain didn't matter, as though your voice didn't deserve to be heard. This kind of dehumanization doesn't just happen overnight. It seeps into your mind, little by little, until you start to believe it. You start seeing yourself the way they wanted you to see yourself, small, powerless, unworthy. The seeds of doubt that they planted take root, and you begin to question everything about who you are. You wonder if you really are as insignificant as they made you feel. But here's the truth they never understood. Dehumanization only works if you let it. They underestimated the resilience of the human spirit, your spirit. Yes, they took away the comforts you once had. Yes, they try to steal your hope, your confidence, and maybe even your sense of self for a time. But they can never take away what truly makes you you. The strength that resides deep within you, the resilience that keeps you going when everything else has been stripped away, is something they could never erase. Rising from the depths of this kind of darkness is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, often painful process. But every single step you take toward reclaiming your humanity, toward rediscovering your worth, is an act of defiance. It's a rebellion against the forces that tried to break you. You are proof that even the worst attempts to destroy someone can fail. They tried to erase you, but you are still here, and that is more powerful than anything they could have imagined. You are a testament to the strength of the human spirit, and nothing can ever take that away from you. Number 6. The universe's test of worthiness. The universe has a strange way of choosing its strongest warriors. It doesn't hand out greatness or strength freely. Instead, it tests you again and again. Your trials, no matter how cruel, unfair, or senseless they may seem in the moment, are not random. They are not accidents of fate. They are deliberate, carefully designed challenges, like a blacksmith's hammer shaping steel into something unbreakable. But let's not romanticize this idea of suffering. This is not about enduring hardship for the sake of becoming a hero in some grand narrative. No, these trials are raw, brutal, and at times feel completely unjustified. The universe doesn't care about making you comfortable or sparing your feelings. It doesn't offer gentle tests. When it chooses to test your worthiness, it strips you down to your very core, leaving behind only the essence of who you truly are. These trials aren't about punishment. They're about preparation. You see, extraordinary roles require extraordinary strength. And strength is never just handed out. It has to be earned. It's forged in the fire of hardship, in the furnace of adversity. The suffering you experience burns away everything superficial, everything that isn't essential to your survival, to your greatness. It forces you to confront the raw, unfiltered version of yourself, the part of you that can't hide behind masks or distractions. Who are you when you have nothing left to cling to? What do you stand for when everything else around you crumbles? These are the questions the universe demands answers to. And here's the irony. You probably didn't sign up for any of this. You didn't choose to be tested, let alone in ways that could break your spirit. But, for reasons you may not fully understand yet, you were chosen. There is something in you, something unique, something potent that the universe saw. Whether it's a light, a potential, or a resilience that others would break under. The universe saw it and decided to forge it, to challenge it, to make sure you are ready for the extraordinary role that awaits you. Here's the hardest truth. Not everyone makes it through these tests. Some get stuck in the pain. Some give in to despair. They lose sight of the bigger picture, and they become consumed by the suffering. But if you are still standing, if you are still fighting, then you are proving yourself worthy, not to anyone else, but to yourself. And you are proving your worthiness to the universe that set you on this path. When the time comes to step into your extraordinary role, when you finally understand the purpose of the fire, you will see why it was necessary. You will see that the trials were not there to break you, but to make you the person you were always meant to be. Number 7, resilience that baffles the abusers. There's something truly mysterious about the resilience you carry, something that confounds even those who work tirelessly to break you. They believed they had you cornered, that they had shattered your spirit, and perhaps even destroyed the very essence of who you are. They threw everything they had at you: manipulation, cruelty, isolation, thinking that you would buckle under the immense weight of it all. They wanted you to crumble, to feel that you were worthless, that you didn't matter. They expected you to lose yourself, to surrender to the darkness they tried to cast over your life. And, for a brief moment, maybe you did. Maybe you found yourself questioning your worth, doubting your abilities, and feeling the sting of defeat. Perhaps you fell to your knees, stayed down longer than you ever intended, and felt like giving up. But then, something extraordinary happened. Despite it all, you got back up. You found the strength to rise again, even though the odds were stacked against you. That's the part that terrifies them. It's not just that you survived, but that you refused to stay broken. You didn't just heal. You became stronger, more resilient, and more determined than before. They can't understand how this is possible because they don't have that kind of strength in themselves. People who try to destroy others do so from a place of weakness and fear. Their attacks are born from a deep insecurity and a desperate need to feel powerful. They want to project their own flaws, their own failures, onto you, hoping that by breaking you, they can somehow elevate themselves. But when you rise, stronger and wiser than ever, it forces them to confront the one thing they can't escape: their own fragility. Your resilience is a mirror they don't want to see. It's a painful reflection of everything they wish they could be, but aren't. They hate you for it, But that hatred is nothing more than a projection of their own inadequacy. They wanted you to fail because in their minds, your failure would validate their own weaknesses. But instead, you've become a reflection of everything they fear, a constant reminder of the strength they never had. The more you thrive, the more it baffles them. They will try to dismiss your success as nothing more than luck or privilege or fate. They'll tell themselves it's unfair, that you didn't deserve it, that you were given a head start while they were left to struggle. But deep down, they know the truth. They underestimated you. They thought they were writing the final chapter of your story, but all they did was set the stage for your greatest comeback. And nothing terrifies an abuser more than the proof that they never truly had power over you. Number 8. The chosen are mirrors. To be chosen isn't just to exist in the world. It's to become a mirror, reflecting back to those around you everything they don't want to see. You don't have to try to do this. It happens naturally. Your mere presence unsettles people, forcing them to confront the truths they would rather ignore. It's like you carry an energy, a light that exposes things they wish could stay hidden. When people see you, they don't just see you. They see all the things they aren't. Your drive highlights their complacency. Your courage underscores their fear. Your resilience shines a harsh light on their excuses, their inability to push through hardship. And to many, that can feel like an attack, even when you've done nothing more than be your true, authentic self. It's difficult for those who refuse to face their own darkness to understand your light. Instead of reflecting on their own flaws, they'll project their anger, frustration, and insecurities onto you. It's easier for them to blame you for their discomfort than to look inward and confront the parts of themselves they'd rather avoid. They may see you as a threat because you hold up a mirror to their own inadequacies, and they're not ready to see what's staring back at them. This is why those who are chosen often face hostility, criticism, and even rejection. People will misjudge you, misunderstand your intentions, and resent you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your presence forces them to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves. They want you to shrink, to hide, to dim your light, simply because it makes them uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Your light was never meant to be hidden. The world needs people like you, even if others can't understand or accept it. Being chosen can be a lonely path. It isolates you because the very thing that makes you special also sets you apart. Yet, it's in this isolation that your power grows. The world needs mirrors. People who refuse to hide their light, who force others to face their own reflections. You may not have chosen this role, but it was chosen for you, and it's yours to embrace. For every person who rejects what they see in you, there will be others who will be inspired to change, to grow, and to face their own truths. That is the true power of being chosen. You are not just a reflection of others' flaws, but a beacon that guides them to become better versions of themselves. Number 9. The loneliness of seeing the truth. To see the truth is both a blessing and a curse. It's a gift that sharpens over time, especially when forged through pain and hardship. As you endure, your understanding of the world deepens. You see through the lies, the facades, and the hidden agendas that others so easily fall prey to. You see the manipulations, the fear disguised as authority, and the systems of corruption and control that hold so many in their grasp. But this awareness comes at a price. The more you see, the more you realize how few truly understand the truth. Most people live in comfortable illusions, wrapped in the security of lies. They don't want to see the world as it really is, because the truth is often too painful, too heavy to bear. It's easier to stay in the dark, to believe in the comforting narratives that allow them to continue with their lives, even if those narratives are based on falsehoods. You can't unsee what life has shown you. Once you know the truth, it sticks with you like a shadow, always present, never far behind. You begin to notice the subtle manipulations behind people's smiles, the quiet fears they hide behind their authority, and the selfishness masked as selflessness. It's not that you asked for this clarity. It's simply that the truth has a way of revealing itself when you've lived through the worst of what life can throw at you. This clarity isolates you. It makes it harder to connect with those who remain blind to the truth. When you try to explain what you see, people may dismiss you as cynical, paranoid, or even delusional. They'll accuse you of overthinking, of reading too much into things. But the reality is that they're not ready to carry the burden of truth. It's too heavy for them, so they choose to remain blind. You walk alone, with the weight of knowledge that sets you apart from the crowd. But this loneliness is not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to your strength. The truth can be a heavy burden, but it's also what gives you the power to see through the lies. It's what makes you a beacon for others, even if they resist your light at first. You may not have asked for this role, but it's one you're uniquely equipped for. While the isolation can be unbearable at times, it is also a mark of your resilience. The world needs people who can see clearly, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Without them, the lies would go unchallenged, and the darkness would continue to spread. Your ability to see the truth is both a curse and a blessing, but in the end, it is what makes you the strong, steadfast individual the world so desperately needs. Number 10. The power of radical forgiveness. There is a power in forgiveness that most people will never fully understand. It's a power that defies logic and goes beyond what we often think of as forgiveness. It's not about letting your abusers off the hook or pretending that what was done to you didn't matter. No, it's about reclaiming something they tried to steal from you: your peace, your mental freedom, and your ability to heal. At first glance, forgiveness can seem like an act of weakness, an attempt to move on too quickly, or even a way to excuse the pain that was caused. But in reality, it is one of the most courageous and radical things you can do. It is a choice to transcend the hurt, not for their sake, but for yours. Forgiveness is an act of liberation. It's a way of breaking free from the chains of bitterness, resentment, and anger that they may have tried to leave you bound with. The real power of forgiveness lies in understanding that when you forgive, you are not excusing their actions or making them less wrong. You are refusing to let them control you any longer. Every time you hold on to hatred or bitterness, you allow them to continue to exist in your mind, shaping your thoughts and emotions, even after the abuse or pain has stopped. They continue to take up space in your life, draining your energy, clouding your peace, and keeping you trapped in a cycle of anger and hurt. But when you make the choice to forgive, you release that hold. You free yourself from the power they still exert over you. Choosing forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened, but about acknowledging the reality of the pain, confronting the damage, and then making a conscious decision to let go. It is not a form of submission. It is the ultimate rejection of the power they thought they had over you. Because in forgiving, you take back control. You reclaim your power. Forgiveness is not a gift for them. It's a gift for yourself. It is a declaration that you will not allow the past to dictate your future, that the wounds they inflicted will not define who you are, and that you have the strength to rise above it. By forgiving, you show the world that you are bigger than the pain they caused. You are not their victim. You are your own person, free to move forward, to heal, and to find peace. Forgiveness, in its truest form, is revolutionary. It terrifies those who try to destroy you because it signals that they no longer hold power over you. It makes you untouchable. It shows them that no matter how deeply they try to hurt you, they were never able to take away your ability to reclaim your peace. And in that sense, forgiveness becomes the ultimate form of revenge, not by harming them, but by living fully, freely, and powerfully despite everything they tried to do. Number 11. Your story as a catalyst for change. What was done to you wasn't an isolated incident. It wasn't just an unfortunate chapter in your life. It is part of a much larger systemic pattern that has existed for generations. The sickness you endured isn't just personal, it's pervasive. It's ingrained in the very fabric of society. It exists in the systems that silence, in the structures that oppress, and in the cultures that enable cruelty to thrive. But here's the powerful truth. Your story, raw and unfiltered, is not just your own. The pain you've endured, the struggles you've overcome, and the wounds you've healed from, these aren't just part of your journey. They are the echoes of so many others who have walked this same path, suffered in silence, and felt the weight of this same system on their shoulders. By sharing your story, you become the voice for those who still can't speak, those who have been silenced by fear, shame, or hopelessness. When you speak out, when you share your truth, you begin to awaken others to the reality of what they've experienced but never had the words for. Your pain becomes a mirror for their own struggles, a reflection of their hidden wounds, and in that reflection, they begin to see that they are not alone. You offer them the permission they never had, the permission to acknowledge their own wounds, to confront the ways they've been silenced, and to rise above what was done to them. There is an undeniable power in telling your truth. It is not about seeking sympathy or validation. It's not about playing the victim or simply venting. No, this is about breaking the silence that has kept so many bound, so many afraid to speak out, so many crushed under the weight of unspoken pain. Your story is not just yours. It is a shared experience that connects you to others who have been similarly oppressed or wounded. And when you speak it, you break the chains that keep us all divided. By speaking your truth, you not only reclaim your own narrative, but also challenge the system that has worked so hard to keep it hidden. Your words become a powerful catalyst for change, sparking a movement of healing, resilience, and collective uprising. You are part of a much larger wave of people who are no longer willing to stay silent, who refuse to remain oppressed, and who will not allow their pain to go unnoticed. The pain you carry may have been forced upon you, but how you use it is entirely your choice. You can choose to let it define you in negative ways, or you can choose to transform that pain into something powerful. By sharing your story, you turn your suffering into strength. You ignite the flames of empowerment, not just in yourself, but in others as well. Your courage to speak out will light the way for those who are still struggling in the dark, showing them that there is hope, that there is power, and that there is strength in unity. When you choose to tell your story, you are not just healing yourself. You are helping to heal the world. Your story becomes a beacon for others to find their own voices, and together, you become part of a movement that will change everything. The courage to share your truth is the first step toward a new world where healing, justice, and liberation can flourish. Number 12. The burden of extraordinary strength. What many fail to understand about you is that your strength is not a gift. It's a burden. People look at you and see someone who has it all together, someone who overcomes every challenge with ease. They see you standing tall, pushing forward no matter what life throws your way. But what they don't realize is that behind that strength, there's a story of pain, sacrifice, and hardship. Every ounce of that strength came at a cost. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose to be the one who had to endure the suffering, the constant struggles, and the relentless challenges that life throws at you. This path was thrust upon you, and with it came scars that most people can't even begin to fathom. They look at your strength and see it as something to be admired, but they don't see the price you paid to earn it. Strength is often romanticized in society, seen as something heroic and admirable. But what they don't realize is that true strength is built on the foundation of suffering. It's not something that comes easily, nor is it something that can be achieved without pain. Each time you rose from the ashes, it was because you were burned. Every battle you fought left its marks on your body, your heart, and your soul. Those marks will never fully heal, and yet you carry them not as trophies, but as reminders of the cost of your survival. It's not easy to be strong when the world constantly expects it from you. There is this unspoken belief that people like you don't break, don't struggle, and don't need help. They see your strength, but they don't see the quiet exhaustion that weighs on your shoulders. They don't see the moments of doubt that you push through, or the times you feel like giving up but keep going because there is no other option. Your resilience isn't built on privilege. It's built on pain. You fight because you have no choice. It's not about being strong to impress others or to gain admiration. It's about surviving. With every victory, there is always another battle waiting for you. And yet, you keep going. People see the strength, but they don't see the burden that comes with it. The quiet moments of weariness, the hidden struggles, and the toll it takes on you. This journey wasn't chosen by you. It was thrust upon you, and yet you carry it with grace. You carry it because you know that your strength is not just a reflection of your survival. It's a testament to the battles others never had to face. You are a warrior, not because you sought the fight, but because you were made for it. You stand tall not because you are invincible, but because you know how to rise every time life tries to knock you down. True transformation begins when we place our trust in God's plan, even in the darkest times. What happened to you wasn't by chance. It was part of a larger spiritual battle meant to diminish your worth and silence your voice. But through it all, you remain standing, a testament to God's grace. You are more than a survivor. You are a living witness to His strength. As Romans 8 verse 28 reminds us, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Through pain, suffering, and betrayal, God has shaped you into a force for change, a beacon of hope for others. Your resilience, rooted in faith, not only empowers you, but also ignites others to rise with you. This is the power of God's chosen. His plan is greater than any obstacle. Your journey is proof that with God, nothing is impossible.